of circulation. How many types of circulations are there? There are three major types of circulations. The first one is so-called the subscription. The next one is single copy sales. And then the last one is controlled circulation. Each of them has different meanings. All of the 92%, over 90% of the sales of magazines are through subscription. You subscribe to a magazine. Basically, it means you buy not only one issue, but a series of issues, preferably based on the subscription of a year. The subscription is the major form. And for some other magazines, they rely heavily on single copy sales, especially printed copies can be bought in newsstands on the side of streets or public spaces. And controlled circulation means providing magazine at no cost to readers who meet some specific standards, criteria. What specific type of reader can these be? The example being airline and hotel customers. These people have already spent heavily purchasing an air ticket or checking into a fancy hotel. And measuring circulation, measurement. Why is measurement very important for magazines? Again, as we have already known, the sales of magazine, and more importantly, the advertisement, the sole source of revenue of advertisement is most important to the survival of magazines. If the magazines cannot persuade advertisers to purchase their advertisement space, then they are going to be broke very soon. And in order to prove advertising is effective, then there has to be some measurement in place, whether it's called testing, whether it's done by a survey or other metrics. Give them different names, it doesn't matter. But still, it's very important for the magazines to be able to provide some hard numbers, some persuasiveness to the clients, the money spenders. Circulation is monitored through research, of course. Most of the time, mostly circulation is monitored, is studied by research institutions, preferably neutral and independent. And one of the most well-known is the so-called ABC, so-called Audit Bureau of Circulation, which was established more than 100 years ago. And in 2012, a 100-year-old institution made some changes, reformed itself by renaming itself the so-called AAM, the Alliance of Audited Media. Of course, there is yet another aspect of the readership that needs measurement, the so-called pass-along readership. Pass-along readership means, what does it mean? Pass-along readership means the readers of magazines who neither subscribe nor buy the magazine. So where do they read a magazine? In public libraries, of course. Public libraries is the main place, but also in a doctor's office, presumably in hospitals, medical magazines are provided in hospitals, and similarly, other places of public or private interest should also provide certain forms of pastime, and magazines should be one of the major forms for them. In order for the advertisers, in order for the big clients of magazines to be able to know, to be able to better assess the effectiveness of advertisements on magazines and to get a better return on their investment, new metrics, newer ways of measurement should be in order, related to the testing, related to the measurement of circulation and readership. Different elements need to be considered. For example, timeliness. timeliness. The problem with the magazines, especially the print versions of magazines, is that it takes time for a new issue, freshly printed issue, to reach the hands of the readers, to reach the readers. It takes, for example, as long as 10 or more days for a magazine, for a new issue of magazine to reach 100% of its readership. Timeliness. And don't forget, advertisement counts on timeliness. If they advertise on magazines, the advertisers may also advertise on other medias, such as TV, radio, internet. If there is a time lag for the magazines, then the effect may not be choreographed perfectly. Secondly, there might be circumstances, there might be occasions when magazines, when publishers boast of the effectiveness of their publication. There needs to be objective, effective measurement protocols in order for the advertisers, in order for the advertisement clients to have a better understanding of the effect of advertising on magazines. For example, again, the AMM, Association of Magazine Media, introduced a so-called magazine media 360 degrees, a new form of a measurement, a new form of protocols to gauge, to examine, to test the effectiveness of advertisements on magazines. And there's another form, so-called print plus, digital versions.